Hello, and welcome to the 180th edition of Spooky Reviews from Spooky Ventures. My name is Gary Hill, and I'm both your host and your reviewer. This week, we're looking at the DVD of an independent horror film called A Hard Place. Now, I need to say up front that several of my friends who I've worked with on films are in this movie, so I might be a little biased about the film. I also was a supporter of the Indiegogo for this movie. I try to be completely impartial, though. I just think it's important to put that potential conflict out there. Had I actually been involved in the making of the film, I don't think I could ethically do a review of it, though. So first off, this is an indie film. You won't mistake it for some high-budget offering from one of the big studios. However, as indie goes, they really did a great job in terms of acting, storytelling, special effects, and just about everything else. Now, this opens with a movie within a movie. That works reasonably well, but also brings one of the problems I have with the film. Mind you, it's a small problem, but a problem nonetheless. I think as the opening scene, that movie in a movie works well. Even there, it has some trouble, though. For one thing, I don't understand why a drive-in theater is running with only one vehicle in attendance. It's never explained, and it left me wondering what was going on with that. And we later see the same movie on a TV screen, and I think it doesn't work as well there. The biggest issue with it, though, comes in the closing, where I believe they are using audio clips from that movie added to the action on the screen. Now, the lines that are used do tie in, but they had a tendency to take me out of the scene a little bit. I think it might have been better without those lines there. I think that might actually be my only real complaint about the movie, though. Now, for the plot line, we have a group of criminals who have just committed a crime and are meeting some people at a deserted farm to make arrangements for their escape. That doesn't really go as most of them have planned, though. Instead, they get caught up in a feud between two groups. I won't go into details about why they're drawn into it, because that will provide spoilers. Let's just say that this plot has a lot of layers to it. Now, there are monsters. In fact, there are two different types of monsters here. One of the things I really like about this is that they aren't any kind of typical monsters. You can't really identify exactly where they fit into things, except that one of the monsters is plant-based, while the other is animal. That uniqueness means that you really don't know what's going to happen because you don't have preconceived notions about the rules in which these things exist or their weaknesses, their strengths. That really works in the film's favor. There is a cool cast of characters, too. One group gives off almost a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe. I suppose the other group, the criminals, you could sort of imply a From Dusk Till Dawn sort of thing, too, but that only applies so well. This is more of a diverse group. They also managed to provide some comedic relief, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre folks, while also bringing a lot of menace to the table. This movie is packed full of gore. At times, it's a little over the top to the point of feeling almost silly, but mostly it really works. The makeup effects are very good, too. And that really manages to sell a lot of the craziness happening in the movie. I will say that this is a movie that doesn't really have a lot of likable characters. Don't get me wrong, there are entertaining characters here. There are interesting characters. But there are really no innocent characters. Everyone has some bad karma coming to them, really. So while you might pull for certain characters over others, there are really no good guys here. Honestly, I feel that is part of the point, though. It's sending a message that there are no purely good guys in a feud. I would say that I might be reading too much into it, but one of the characters late in the film, when asked what started the feud, literally doesn't remember, and does at the same time make it clear that the feud will continue. All in all, I really enjoyed this movie. The balance of horror and comedic relief was just about perfect. The action starts quickly, and it really never lets up. At times, it does feel a little like one endless, senseless parade of violence, but again, possibly reading more into it, I think that's intentional because it shows how the violence and us versus them concept can become completely senseless for a while. if I'm not reading too much into it, it's kind of cool that there is a real point to the film beyond just the pure horror and gore and action of it. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.